Well, good morning. Thank you, Hillary. You're here because you know the truth. That the truth is that society expects businesses to do more than just make a profit. So when we think about it, as Hillary just said, we think businesses have four requirements by society. One is to serve our customers, that's obvious. Second is to make a profit. We do need to make a profit for our shareholders. Third is to create opportunities for our team. And fourth is to improve communities. So your investment of time today shows you're aligned with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation and Michael's quest, which is to harness the power of business to make the world better. And this is a talented group of leaders, and you have the expertise, experience, and resources to build a better future. So today, I want to focus on the decline in trust, which is impacting our ability to fulfill that mission. And my goal is to enlist your leadership to change the fact that trust in America has declined precipitously. Let me just start with, listen to this sentence. I don't trust you. It's a harsh statement and one I don't believe about you. It is, however, a common emotion that's felt in America about each other, about our leaders, and about our institutions. We don't trust our government, our businesses, or our educational institutions. Only 41% of Americans trust other people to do what's right. And local relationships have declined, with less than half of Americans making small talk with their neighbors. On top of that, 3/4 of Americans are concerned about the cost of living, 72% about the state of our country, and almost 2/3 about the safety of their families. We feel alone. So 1 in 8 U.S. adults have no close friends. And that's 4 times the level 35 years ago. Now this is a problem, right? So the political philosophers, whether it's Locke, Hume, or Rousseau, all believe that trust was the foundation for a good society. And lower trust is slowly destroying the future of our children, our families, and our communities. So what we need is less blind trust and more authentic trust. Blind trust is dangerous because it's about denying facts to maintain beliefs. Authentic trust is created by relationships with reciprocity and predictability. It's not about agreement. So authentic trust is necessary for us to be a functioning society. Trust is also necessary for one of the most basic of American principles, freedom. You know, trust is freedom in itself, because if you don't trust, you won't try new things. If you didn't trust the transportation, you wouldn't be here today. If we don't trust each other, we won't listen to each other. We won't experiment. And we need to share different views to win. So America has succeeded by innovating and by trusting each other, and we need to get back to that foundation. Allstate, we understand trust because it's kind of the core of what we do, right? Like over 200 million policyholders give us their money, and they trust that we'll be there when things happen. So we do that by continually innovating, challenging ourselves to provide clarity and be predictable. And trust is then earned through action. It's not just talking, you got to do things. So we're there for our customers many times a year, and trust is incredibly important to our business. It's incredibly important to America. So, and this has required us to be aware of the trends, but not simply follow them. It's about creating the future. And that's what I want to talk about today. What do we do? So Allstate and the Aspen Institute have created and it's called the Alliance for Social Trust. And we need your input on its direction, because it's going to take all of us to do this. You have the power to change the world, this group of people, your resources, your capabilities, your expertise. You have the power to create a better future. Now, to harness that, we have to rebuild community relationships and amplify the positive. We've spent a lot of time looking at, like, how did we get here? Like, how did this happen over the last 2 decades? And it's really complicated. We read Bob Putnam's book. We did a lot of research on it. And there's no real one reason why trust is where it is. But then we said, okay, well, if we can't figure out how we got here, how do we get out of here? And we said there's two ways we can get out of here. One is rebuild relationships, because relationships are the basis for trust. And second is to amplify the benefit of those relationships and amplify the benefits of the positive going on in the world. Now, there are strengths to build on. 74% of Americans are optimistic about the future of their community, right? Two-thirds are involved in community organizations. So, and you think about this, if you're like putting down sandbags, or you're making sandwiches for a homeless shelter, or you're coaching a baseball team, you're not going to ask me about my education level, about my income level, or my political ideology. We're just going to build a relationship. And if you have a relationship with someone, you're much more likely to trust them so that you listen and grow from them. So we think trust can be built from the bottom up, one relationship at a time. It's about making a difference by working together, not debating ideology. Trust can also be improved by focusing on the positive. There's just way too much negativity in the world today. So how many, raise your hand if you think there's more negative than positive in the world today? Yeah, most of you. Yeah, well, that's true, okay? So if you take all the messages in the world that are negative, and you subtract out all the positive messages in the world, the net is a negative. And so we have a service that looks at, how much negative things people say about Allstate, positive things. And we also measure something called TRPs, total rating points, which is the size of an advertising program. So I said, well, if you take that net negative, exactly how big is it as an advertising campaign? And it's bigger than the top 15 advertisers combined annually. It's more than a $100 billion advertising campaign. And it's not just the media. Like, I don't think you can blame the media. It's all of us. It's what we tune into, what we listen to, what we click on, what we retweet. It's really a campaign of us against us by us. So we're trapped in this web of negativity, and we're almost becoming addicted to negativity. It's changing what we crave. So this creates anxiety, which makes it hard to trust other people. It clouds our vision and keeps us from being who we were meant to be. So it's actually even harmful for our own personal well-being. So this is not about ignoring reality. Sometimes I say this, people think, oh, you just want to be all positive. No, it's not about ignoring reality. That'd be blind trust. That's a bad thing. This is about authentic trust. And it's about being more positive about the things that we like in America, the things we like about each other, and finding ways to then bridge and build relationships. Now, you live this, right? You know acceptance leads to acceptance, respect given leads to respect received. So acceptance and respect are the foundations for creating trust. So restoring trust is a door we have to go through if we're going to address the many concerns that Americans have. And it's necessary for collaboration, for innovation, and for creating solutions that are accepted and worked. So it's a door to realizing our full potential. So Allstate and the Aspen Institute are acting on this. We're funding efforts to strengthen local relationships through Trust and Practice Awards. So we've committed $5 million to improve trust through physical or virtual communities. So the learnings can then be utilized across the country, so you can take them to your organizations. And here's how it'll work. At least 3 organizations have to come together from different communities, and that can be a local community, a physical community, or it could be virtual. And they have to be focused on civic engagement, volunteering, or bridging differences. And then they have to use an intergenerational group of participants, so work across age boundaries as well. And then those organizations would become part of a national network. We would take their learnings and share them through this national network to other people so that we can work on improving trust. The way we're going to select the grants is first we're going to say, well, what's the impact on trust? Is it going to be a good? What's the commitment and strength of the leadership? Because this is going to be about leadership and people standing up and working across boundaries. How good are they at executing? And then what's our ability to extend this across the country? Now, your leadership is going to be will be necessary for us to be successful at this. So work within your communities to bring organizations together. Sell the concept. participate in making a proposal and finding ways to improve trust in America. So I think leadership in the end is about getting people to willingly go someplace they would not go by themselves. Not too hard to lead people to get them to go where they were going to go anyway. Then you're just the head of the parade. But it's about getting them to willingly go someplace they would not go by themselves. As leaders, we need your help to get people to willingly go someplace they would not go by themselves. So because we can create a better future if we improve trust. We have to help people mobilize resources. And now is the time to act. Trust is one of those amorphous things, and you think like, why now? It's like there's a lot of other pressing problems in there, because this is meta. It goes underneath all of that. And Hemingway, in his summarizes the consequences of inaction in a book called The Sun Also Rises. There's one of these characters, Mike, he goes bankrupt. And so he's asked, how'd you go bankrupt? And he says, 2 ways, gradually, then suddenly. And you know, trust has been declining gradually, and prosperity will elude our grasp suddenly if we don't get after it. So we have to work on improving trust now, because otherwise we're going to end up with a social bankruptcy that Locke, Hume, and Rousseau said would happen if you don't have trust in a democracy. So help rebuild local relationships. Help us start and sustain a movement to improve trust in America by getting people to do the work they're doing today, but doing it across boundaries and bringing a broader group in. And then help celebrate the success. You know, avoid the trap of negativity, find those things you like, celebrate those, let people know about those so that we have inspiration and momentum to continue to build trust. I do trust you. I believe you will create a better future, and the time to act is now. So let's make the world better together, one relationship, one positive thought at a time. Thank you for being here.